Do you know what percentage of your inbound patient calls go unanswered? Not what you think it is, the actual number from your phone system. Because the industry average across practices running traditional call center models is over 20%. 1 in 5 patients calling to schedule, reschedule, ask a question before they decide to come in, getting nothing. They hang up, they call someone else, or they just don't come back. And when most practices see that number, they say, we need to hire more front desk staff. That's not a staffing problem. That's a revenue problem that looks like a staffing problem. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do about it. I'm Asrin. This is Private Practice Secrets. Today, we're going to talk about AI voice agents, what they actually do, what a real deployment looks like, and how to know if the math works for your practice before you commit to anything. This is a revenue problem. Here's the math. Most practices have not run. Take your weekly unanswered call volume. Assume conservatively that 40% are scheduling attempts. Apply your average visit value. In ortho, that's often $150 to $300 per visit, higher when you factor a full plan of care. Even if only half of those patients don't rebook, you're looking at a real revenue leak every single week. Annualized across a multi-location practice, that number gets large really fast. And that's before the downstream effects. A patient who can't get through is more likely to lapse in care, less likely to refer, and more likely to leave a review about it. Your front desk team is not underperforming. They're running a 2026 call volume on a model built for a much smaller practice. 9 out of 10 patient complaints trace back to poor or inaccessible admin communication, not clinical quality. Scheduling, hold times, callbacks that don't come. The fix is not more headcount. The fix is using AI to handle volume that doesn't require human judgment, so your staff is available for the interactions that do matter. Let me be specific, because this is where vendor pitches get vague in ways that hurt you later. Here's what a very well-built AI voice agent handles end-to-end without human involvement. Scheduling and rescheduling. Across providers and locations, honoring your visit type rules, your provider matching logic, your location restrictions, and your insurance rules. This is not a generic scheduling, your scheduling logic. Number 2 is new patient intake, demographics and insurance captured, record update directly in the EHR before the call ends. 3rd is confirmation and cancellations. Identity verified, appointment confirmed, slot released back into availability instantly when a patient cancels. 4th is FAQs. Hours, locations, what to bring, insurance questions, parking. The calls your staff fields on autopilot, handled accurately every time. And 5th is routing and escalation. Anything the agent can't resolve gets routed to the right person with a structured handoff. Billing goes to billing, clinical questions go to the clinical team. After-hour calls that require staff intervention are logged as telephone encounters and converted into structured follow-up tasks for the next business day, while requests the AI can handle are handled automatically. And because every call is recorded, transcribed, and scored automatically, resolution rate, scheduling success, abandonment, patient sentiment, you get visibility into your call volume that was never possible when humans were handling every call. For the first time, you can actually see what's happening inside of your front office. 4 weeks to go live. Here's what those 4 weeks actually should look like. Week 0 is scoping, finalizing what the agent handles, what it routes, where limits are. The vendor ingests your existing SOPs, call scripts, and EHR configuration so the agent learns how your team actually operates, not just a generic version of it. Weeks 1 and 2 are build and integration. The vendor configures the agent with your specific scheduling rules, routing logic, provider templates, and intake flows so it can begin looking appointments in your sandbox before going live in your production EHR. Week 3 is UAT. Your team runs calls through the system. Your front desk manager is your best QA resource here. They know what wrong looks like before anyone else actually does. Week 4 is controlled rollout, not a hard cutover, typically a couple of hours a day in production before the full go live day hits, with weekly performance reviews to tune based on what the data actually shows. The staff time required here is a few hours a week from one project lead. This is not a year-long IT project. It is a 4-week-long deployment with a defined scope and a clear go-live date. The best fit practices here are practices with at least 1,000 inbound calls per day, multi-location footprints, call demand that consistently outpaces front desk capacity. If you're not at that volume yet, the ROI math is thinner. Be honest with yourself about where you are. Here's the one thing that I want you to take away. Every unanswered patient call is not a staffing metric. It is a revenue event. You either captured it or you didn't. And right now, over 20% of those events are going uncaptured. Not because your team isn't working hard, but because the model can't scale the way demand has scaled. The practices that deploy this and get it right don't end up with fewer staff. They end up with staff doing higher value work, a call center that closes the loop on every patient interaction, and a dashboard that tells them things about their front office they've never been able to see before. You already know the number, you just haven't looked it up yet. That is your action this week. Pull the unanswered call percentage from your phone system, write it down, bring it to your next vendor conversation, and ask them to show you the math. I'll see you next week on Private Practice Secrets.